Hello everyone, and welcome into my match review of Barcelona's woeful loss suffered against Benfica at Estadio de Luz, and welcome back to Blaugrana Everything. There's really not enough words to say just how embarrassing, shambolic, anemic, insane, and just flat out embarrassing Barcelona have been since the international break. So I want to do something very different with my match review this time around. I am not going to do my usual format, tactical setup, team performance, blah blah blah. I'm not going to do that because I feel that what we are witnessing from the team is quite extraordinary and not in a good way. And so I just want to take a moment to look at the match result with the aim of addressing the elephant in the room. And I'll first get round to it by looking at how the teams were set up. So, okay, I know I said I want to do tactical setup, but this is important, okay? Benfica set up as we expected, down to the last man with the following starting 11. Barcelona, however, they did not, and this is kind of where I want to start from. First of all, Sergio Roberto at right back instead of Oscar Mingueza. When Ronald Koeman first came to Barcelona, he himself said that Sergio Roberto was a midfielder and not a right back. Since then, guess where Roberto has played the majority of his minutes? That's right, at right back. Against Levante, Mingueza had a near faultless performance, and I do realize that Benfica are a higher quality opponent than Levante, but isn't that all the more reason why you should play a defender who will offer actual defensive cover and will make good decisions in the moment? But no, not if you're Ronald Koeman. It's not what you do. You instead play a midfielder out of position, and he was part of the reason why that opening goal was scored. The other part being, of course, Eric Garcia's woeful 1v1 skills, but I don't know. I just really thought that we were past the stage of seeing Sergio Roberto at right back in 2021. To make things worse, Eric Garcia in the starting 11 was pit against Darwin Núñez. Like, directly, you were expecting Eric Garcia to be able to deal with 1v1s? Really? But the moment I saw that right side of our defense, I pretty much knew something was going to go wrong there. And like I had said in my match preview, Darwin Núñez is very good at cutting in and getting shots off, and he took advantage of Garcia's weak 1v1 defending to do just that and open the scoring after just 2 minutes. Now, you can also probably throw some blame at Marc-Andre ter Stegen here, but again, if you look how close Gerard Piqué's foot was to blocking that shot, there's not really that much more the keeper would have done. Also, going back to the starting 11, I don't understand why Gavi wasn't given the nod ahead of Pedri, who just came back from injury. Admittedly, alongside De Jong and Ronald Araujo, Pedri was one of Barcelona's, better performers. But still, I think he would have worked even better coming in off the bench as a substitute. Just imagine the shift in dynamic that would bring on the match if you bring someone like Pedri, who is going to put you more on the front foot. Anyway, before I do the Lord's work and delay into Ronald Koeman even more, I first have to mention one other thing. I am by no means giving the players a get-out-of-jail-free card here. Piqué, Dest, Luke de Jong, Eric Garcia, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and Sergio Roberto were all pretty much terrible on the night. I mean, I don't know what ter Stegen was doing at that point, but I guess this is Koeman ball. I don't know. None of these players looked like they were in the game, and from the start, they just held the team back. And as for Luke de Jong, I don't understand how he couldn't score even just one chance. There was that other chance where he was flagged offside, where he literally was 2 inches away from the goal line, and he turned the ball into the goalpost. Like, he couldn't even put it in from that range. I think the commentator said it best when he said that Luke de Jong was playing like a player who was surprised he was at Barcelona. And I have to admit, that's what was going on here. Because that's the worst performance by a striker from Barcelona I have seen in God knows how long. The scoreline on the night betrays the fact that this team actually did have a lot of goal-scoring chances. In going by the XG, the chance creation stats would say that Barca and Benfica were on equal footing, And keep in mind, Benfica had a penalty, so take that away and Barca's XG is even better. But that's even more of a condemnation on these players because we should not have been losing to Benfica. Honestly, something needs to change. And no, it's not Busquets. I know there are people who are saying, well, Busquets this, Busquets that. Well, you know what? This is one performance where it was not on him. He does have his bad performances, but this time around, it was not him. Because you know what? Once he came off, all hell broke loose. Barcelona lost all control of this game in midfield, and they just never looked like even producing one goal-scoring chance. And mind you, we still haven't registered a shot on target in this competition, and that is as much a knock on these players as it is on Ronald Koeman. So now, back to Ronald Koeman. Match on Wednesday showed everything that is wrong with him and that has plagued Barcelona all throughout his tenure. Firstly, like I pointed out, team selection was terrible. Secondly, and probably maybe more importantly, game management was also terrible. Now, I actually for a moment thought we were on the brink of watching a positive evolution from Ronald Koeman when I saw Gerard Piqué getting subbed off early on. I was thinking, you know what, yes, this is good. This is decisive thinking. This is what we need to do, and we brought in an extra body. I was thinking Gavi is going to go and play the right wing again like he did against Levante. But no, just when you thought that Koeman did something sensible, he instead moved our biggest threat going forward, Frenkie de Jong, to centre back to keep playing this three at the back nonsense. And this is what I don't get. If you're playing three at the back and you're conceding 3 goals, shouldn't you at some point realize that that's not working? Effectively, that was a tactical change that took the game out of Barcelona's hands. Frenkie de Jong had actually been helping pin back Benfica because they were finding his movements difficult to deal with, something that I had pointed out in my preview as a key feature of his game and one of the things that could help him influence this match in Barca's favor. Anyway, the final nail in the coffin came in the form of a triple substitution that Koeman made to bring on Nico Gonzalez, Ansu Fati, and Philippe Coutinho. Now, on the surface, were those bad substitutions to make? No, they were not. We needed someone a bit more athletic to help Barcelona compete in midfield. That's what Nico was going to do. He needed to give Pedri his rest because, he can't play 90 minutes. He just came back from injury. Hence the Coutinho sub, and you needed to get Luke de Jong off the pitch. Hence the Ansu Fati sub. So the subs theoretically were correct. Problem though was the timing of the subs. All these substitutions came at a time when Barca and Benfica were jostling for midfield dominance and suddenly pulling out the one midfielder who was still plugged in for Barcelona, like whether you like it or not, Busquets was plugged in this match. Pulling him off pretty much led to Benfica winning the midfield battle, and they eventually went on to score a second and a third goal. I mean, it's not a coincidence that Benfica's second goal came just less than a minute after Sergio Busquets had been substituted. And that's not a knock on Nico Gonzalez. That's just saying read the moments and know when to make the subs and who to hook off. He should have taken off Sergio Roberto at that very moment, but he did not. The third and final point I have to make is that Ronald Koeman has been fostering a defeatist mindset in the team, and the players just do not look motivated to play for him any longer. Just look at some of these quotes from Koeman just before the match against Benfica. He literally sounds like he's about to go up against PSG or Bayern Munich or Manchester City, one of those elite attacking teams. Anyway, what really takes the cake for me is the following, which is our recent form in the Champions League and also just against big teams. I think we already covered the against big teams thing after we lost to Bayern, so I won't go back on that. I will focus mostly on some of the streaks, historical ones, that have ended under the watchful eye of Ronald Koeman. Okay, because just look at this. Before Koeman, Barca had 1, never lost a league match to a Simeone side, ever. 2, they had never lost a home game in the Champions League since 2010. 3, they hadn't lost to Granada at home, ever. 4, they hadn't gone 90 minutes without registering a shot on target in the UCL. 5, they hadn't gone 180 minutes without registering a shot on target in the UCL. 5, They hadn't lost the first match of the Champions League campaign since 1997. 6. They hadn't lost 2 consecutive opening fixtures of a Champions League campaign since ever. And 7. Barcelona hadn't lost to Benfica since 1961. But it gets more embarrassing because you know what? If you look at Barcelona's last 5 Champions League matches, this is what you're going to find. Barcelona 0, Juventus 3. Barcelona 1, PSG 4. PSG 1, Barca 1. Barcelona 0, Bayern 3. Benfica 3, Barca 0. That's 5 matches with 14 goals conceded. We're almost averaging 3 goals being conceded per game. And guess how many we scored? Just 2. And you know what? The guy who scored those 2 goals, he's now doing that for PSG. He's not here anymore. We cannot score goals anymore under Ronald Koeman. And what could even be worse? Ronald Koeman costing Barcelona Champions League knockout football. Because you know what? We are 4 points behind Benfica. Let's forget about Bayern. We're not going to catch Bayern. 4 points behind Benfica. Now we are praying that basically Bayern beats Benfica back to back, which they don't need to do. Then we're also hoping that we beat Dynamo Kiev back to back, and by some miracle that we're going to beat Benfica again. With this coach, Barca could be about to miss out on Champions League football for what will probably be the first time, I don't know, in maybe 20 plus years. And the whole time this has been happening, the whole time we've been watching Koeman work, we've been asking ourselves, can it get any worse? And you know what? It has. It has gotten worse every time. I asked literally against Bayern if it could get any worse, and then we had Granada. And then, I asked against Granada if it could get any worse. Now we have this. We can't keep waiting around to see how much worse things will get. A decision needs to be made by Joan Laporta. In fact, Joan Laporta, this is the reason the fans voted you back as president, because decisions need to be made. And if we're still not sure who we want to replace Ronald Koeman, then why don't we just let his assistant Schroeder take over on an interim basis? All I know is that I'm tired of having expectations in the basement. I will end, of course, by giving my man of the match, since this is technically a match review. That title easily goes to Darwin Núñez. I pointed him out as one to watch. He delivered for Benfica. Personally, I've been low-key watching him since his days in Spain, when he briefly was linked with Barca whilst playing for Almeria. He has come along a long way, and it looks like it could be his breakout year, so expect a big money move for him in the next few summers. Anyway, that's that from me. Thank you for tuning in and for watching this far. Hopefully, we don't ever have to endure anything like this again, but anyway, have a great day. I'll see you all in the next upload as we build up to the match against Atleti. But until then, Forza Barca.